I was a little over 4 years old, and our Aunt May had come down from Philadelphia to help take care of us, and Eddie was about 2 years old, and Mother was in the hospital. I don't remember her leaving, but I know she was in the hospital while this hurricane was flooding the neighborhood, and the water was creeping up and up and up. We live near a creek, and the water was coming up across our front yard and coming up one step at a time, and Daddy was taking as many of the furnishings upstairs as he could carry, because he was sure the first floor was going to be flooded. And the water came as far as the threshold of the front door and stopped.
Oh my God.
That was pretty amazing. But what I do remember is our next door neighbor came swimming over to see us and see if we were all right. Now, you weren't in the picture yet. You and Mother were still in Dixie Hospital. But you did come home with Mother, and I guess you had colic. You don't remember that either.
I never had anything that made me cry or scream or holler.
No.
I just, as the story goes, I did have colic, yeah.
Yeah, that was hard, but I don't remember any of the screaming and the crying. But we moved to another house when just the following year, and there was a backyard surrounded by a fence. But somehow George always managed to get out of it, and he would disappear. Now this fence was a 6 foot high. I do remember that. A 6 foot high fence, and it wasn't a board fence. It was a wire fence. What do you call the kind of wire that was kind of square? Rectangular. Anyway, one day we found George in a neighbor's farm in his greenhouse, sitting up on a big flat of onions. And this little toddler, he wasn't even a toddler yet. I don't think you even had learned how to crawl. Well, you must have, because you couldn't have gotten there otherwise.
How can you remember that?
Well, I'm not sure that although I do remember seeing him sitting in the middle of all these onions. I do remember that. And then another time, a neighbor came to Mother carrying George. She had been sitting at her dressing table in her upstairs bedroom down across a main drag, and she happened to glance into the mirror and see crawling across Kigartan Road, seeing this kid crawling across the street. And she went, of course, and gathered him up, and I don't know how she knew how to bring him to 304 Columbia Avenue, but that's what she
He was crawling?
That's what I remember. Now, you know,
You gotta be kidding me.
well, I keep telling you, my memory isn't as good as it used to be, so I could well be mistaken. This is just what the impressions are that I recall. So after that, after those two escapes from the backyard that was fenced in, Daddy rigged up a line on the clothesline on a pulley. And on the clothesline, they put a leash with a harness. And when you'd go out in the backyard, Mother would put this little belt or harness or whatever it was, a seat belt.
Like a doggy.
And you had the entire run of the clothesline.
Yeah.
You know, he had to run in the backyard, but I don't think you made any more escapes after those.
We're lucky he
Story
didn't
of my
strangle
life,
himself to
everybody's
death.
holding me down.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Baltimore, and the people next door had two backyards. One backyard was for use, and the other one was just a big old place that had a fish pond in it that they never used and was very stagnant. And George got adventurous one day, and he fell into this stagnant fish pond.
That was terrible. I remember.
You do remember?
Oh, yeah, well, I remember the smell,
Right, the
all
smell.
these leaves and everything.
You've smelled ever since.
So, the mother grabbed him up, brought him home, took off all the messy, smelly clothes, and got him right into the bathtub. And I guess he was scared that he might have been drowned or something, and mother said, oh no, God was taking care of you, you know, God is everywhere, and God was taking care of you. And George said, does God stink too?
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
heck, I do remember that.
Now, that's a perfectly serious question.
Yes, right.
Well, 3 years old.
And how old was he then?
He was, let me see, he was about 4, 3 or 4.
Yeah, and then everything stunk. We moved to Granite. We're going across the pasture one day. He and Eddie had me eat horse buns.
Oh,
They told me it was a bun. And I've been full of it ever since.
I don't know.
all right.
Did you make
I
that
remember
up?
that. Yeah.
How'd it taste?
I was just a little kid. They
I
had me eating
remember it too, it was Eddie.
horse manure.
What did it taste like?
Horse shit.
It wasn't your notes, yeah. Oh, I liked it.
All right.
Who else has a story for us?